Today is day 2, I believe, of the vegetarian challenge that I have put onto myself. So it's the end of the day. We're gonna make dinner. I'm making another Filipino dish. This one is called Sinigang, and it was my absolute favorite dish growing up. But it's usually made with pork or salmon, but since we're on this challenge, we're gonna use neither. But I still have all my veggies. The one thing that I'm missing here though is daikon radish, which is also one of my favorites. Wasn't able to find that, but instead of using pork or salmon, I'm gonna try using it with mushrooms instead. And then I have a tamarind seasoning mix. But what we're gonna do is wash all our veggies. We have some sili, which is basically a pepper, some bok choy, a lot of bok choy, and then 2 eggplants with our mushrooms, okay? So we're just gonna rinse these up and then I'll show you the whole process. So I'm cutting up the bok choy before I rinse it. So I'm basically separating the leafy greens from the harder white parts because these are going to take a little bit longer to cook than the usual. So separate those and then we'll rinse them. Can we just talk about how pretty this is? I love seeing like all these fresh vegetables. Also, yes, there's our garlic. We're gonna put some onion with it as well. So let's get started. Okay, so I figured out how I'm gonna make this. So I have a pot heating up, and the first thing I'm gonna cook is mushrooms. I'm gonna throw them in, brown them a little bit, and then I'll do the garlic and then the onions, add some water, and then we're just gonna like boil / steam the rest of the veggies. Never put mushrooms in sinigang before, so we're gonna see how this turns out. But an important ingredient that I want to list in case anybody is actually going to try making this is a tamarind soup mix. Okay, this is the one I was talking about where it says it contains shrimp and milk, and then it has in bold letters may contain soy, but I'm taking that risk today because I ran out of my tamarind paste. In my local Asian grocery store, they used to have the tamarind paste, and I thought I had some at home, but apparently I don't. But that's the thing that's going to give you that that soury flavor. I don't know if anybody's actually ever tried this before, but it's one of my favorite meals ever growing up. It's so good. I have nothing else in this pot aside from just mushrooms, no olive oil, nothing. I didn't add any salt yet, but I'm trying to take off as much of the moisture as possible so that it kind of gets a little bit more, like it'll taste different than just like boiled mushrooms. So that's what we're going for. While it's at this stage, I just added some of the onions and the garlic so that it can kind of saute with the mushrooms while it's absorbing their water. Added a little bit of the soup mix to the mushrooms already because I wanted to have that a little bit of the taste to it. I didn't want to just add salt because this has a lot of salt in it. Okay, so sinigang is basically a broth, kind of like a soup dish, but you eat it with rice. So what I'm gonna do is add I wanna say 2 cups, maybe 3, that much of water to it. Bring that up to kind of a simmer, and then I'll add the rest. I'll add the white parts of the bok choy to it. Okay, we added the rest of the vegetables, and the last thing that we're gonna add is this huge pepper. So I cut it a little bit on its end. I don't know if you could see it, but that's so that it could release some of the heat throughout the cooking process. So I'm gonna poke that in there, and then maybe probably like 10 minutes or so, it's gonna be done. And then we're gonna eat it with rice. This is what it looks like. I know it might look questionable to some people, but trust me, this is how it's supposed to look. At least growing up, that's how it looked to me. So we have a little bit of the pepper because trust me, this could be super spicy. And then we have our mushrooms here. So let's give it a taste. It's way too hot for me to eat, but it smells exactly the same. Like I guess though all those years, what I was smelling was all the vegetables instead of the pork. But I'm so excited to try this. I'm very tired, but I'm also very excited. It's comfort food. This is comfort food. Ah, so hot. You know what it is? It's that mix. It's that tamarind packet that makes like all the difference, because it goes from just like boiled vegetables to an actual dish. It's so good. That is the end of day 2 for this vegetarian challenge. So far, so good. Quick note though, if anybody actually is allergic to soy, don't use that seasoning packet, because I'm allergic to soy, and my bright ass said, yeah, you should totally try it. I mean, it says may contain, it doesn't mean it does contain. So I was just craving that dish though. I haven't been able to eat sinigang in such a long time, and I was trying to evaluate Filipino dishes that I ate growing up that I could maybe turn into a vegetarian dish. So that was one of them that came to mind, but I'll try making it again in the future without that seasoning packet. I'll just have to look for proper tamarind paste so that it gets that like same amount of sourness without the whole soy and everything associated with it. But overall, for these past couple of days, I've noticed that my energy just feels better in terms of like, especially after I eat. Usually if it's like something really meaty, I'll feel a little head heavy, a little bit more tired. You know, I'm not saying this with every single meal, but so far with what I've been eating, like my stomach feels satiated, but my head feels lighter, if that makes any sense. Like I don't feel as weighed down on certain things. But that is my update for day 2. That is how it went. Tomorrow, I'm hoping I can try making stuffed bell peppers, because I don't know why I'm just craving that. Like it just seems, I'm just craving a lot of vegetables. So, and my refrigerator is stacked up with everything that we did from our Aldi's haul and Asian market haul a couple of days ago. So let me know if you like this video. Leave me a comment down below and what else you'd like to see. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would really appreciate the support. But thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!